When you think of something about cars, you'll probably mention the first film, or the third film, or any of the Cars Toon movies, or the shorts, or the Planes movies. But one, but some suck. This is the main culprit of the bad ones. Cars 2 from 2011. Why is this a cinematic disaster, you ask? I wouldn't say this is a cinematic disaster. I could say it, but I describe it in a more interesting way. Jalopny, Rust Bucket, Heaper, Clunker, Junker, Wrecker, Heap, Rattletrap. But here's what I say for the most part: Lemon. So basically, we're going to be explaining why Cars 2 is a lemon. It's the most it's the most sufficient way to explain cinematic disaster. Okay, so the movie starts while we're in the Pacific Ocean. We're an agent named Finn McMissile who honestly sucks as a character because he is absolutely nothing but a plot device. Even though he's not supposed to be the main character, though, because it ain't called Finn the movie for not. It's riding a boat. They get stopped by a battleship. And Finn manages to sneak on. Oh yeah, question: how did Finn manage to get from that boat to the small boat to the big boat without the big boat seeing Finn? Because if before even getting blown up to the back and got to the back of the big boat, Finn manages to sneak in the big boat to ride to oil rigs that actually do their job. That's the only good thing. That's the good thing about this intro. Because again, Finn is nothing but a plot device, along with another character I'll explain in a little bit. Anyway, he gets on this oil rig and finds this meeting led by an evil professor who's named Zundap, who's honestly one of the few good characters of the movie for reasons. One, he actually knows when to shut up. Two, he is not constantly used as a plot device throughout the entirety of this movie, unlike Finn, what I just mentioned earlier. And three, he is threatening. Boom. Easy likable character. And Finn manages and we see him looking at a camera. Finn manages to go get a closer look. And he stands in the center of the middle of the opening. Oh yeah, and this gives me another question. How did he get past level 1 of spy training? I mean, wouldn't a lemon with average brain could just look up and see him? That isn't Zundap. To have Finn blow his cover for reasons. Then we have an action scene which is surprisingly good. Although they seem to be playing them really early though. Finn manages to jet skis away. Why did he need the other boat then to get to the oil rig then, huh? He could have just did the same thing he left for by leaving the oil rig. Miss a missile gets shot at him and he fakes them out by going underwater. But I think that's enough of the intro for now. We managed to finally get to the actual stuff. That's Mater, who is the main comic relief of the movie, even though he's not supposed to. Mater does his job by towing a lemon, and then we get a conversation that is totally useless, and acts like Mater because he's Mater. Get used to Mater being Mater, because there will be like 1,000 scenes where he does the exact same thing. And the main characters established in the first movie, who actually are just background characters now, instead of recurring characters. And also Doc's dead. Rest in peace, Paul Newman. No, this is actual tribute to Paul Newman, 1925 to 2008. Back to the story. Then Lightning spends some time with his girlfriend Sally, who again is barely in this movie. Also, Also Radiator Springs manages to have a fancy restaurant while the other downtown area is still poor. Then they watch this television show named The Mel Dorado Show, reporting that there is this oil tycoon named Axelrod ran out of gas in the middle of the jungle and invented a friendly fuel named All in All, a alternative fuel brand. And Axelrod is having a World Grand Prix, three races to see what his fuel can do. Then we see an Italian version of Chick Hicks, except this Italian version of him is not really funny. Lightning was invited, but he's taking some time off. After Mater insults Lightning, we have the cliche where the idiot forces their friend to participate in something. Lightning gets on the phone and gets in the race. Also, is it weird how he decides to take his best friend and on the race, but not Sally, his girlfriend? Did McQueen decide not to take her to the World Grand Prix because Sally has a crush on Italian car? Anyways, they go on a plane to Japan, and when they arrive there, when the characters see the sights, they're obviously nothing but filler. Buddy, this ain't a travel guide, because it would be funny if it was, but it isn't. It's a movie. If it was a travel guide, there'd be no spy shit in this film. I want you guys to remember that. Anyways, when they arrive to this Japan party, Mater acts like an idiot because he's Mater and embarrasses Lightning. Also they go across the Italian car again. Has the enormous eagle, almost the same level of big as Lightning's from the first film. Speaking of that, the only thing I don't like about Lightning mostly is because they give him the same development in each and every film. This is an example. Cars 3 is a worse derailment for him, which is why I don't like Cars 3. I just didn't like how they reverted McQueen's character development back to square one. This reverting McQueen's character development back to square one is also a major flaw for this film. Finally, we get back to the spy. We go back to the spy stuff after past 30 minutes or something. Finn manages to meet someone called Holly, who is the other plot device I was talking about. Holly isn't that bad as Finn, though, because Holly at least had some moments where she's actually smart. Finn doesn't have any of that. And they learned that the TV camera from earlier is just a standard TV camera. They need to meet an American agent, and just because of obvious reasons, because the lemons are there, Holly has to meet him, because even though she's never seen the lemons before, or the American agent, or whoever the fuck it is. Then we get a joke where Mater confuses wasabi for pistachio for ice cream. Then he embarrasses Lightning because of course he does. Okay, then and Mater leaks oil. It's just a toilet humor joke. Another one I'll be coming up in a minute. And Mater enters the bathroom. Then he goes in the stall with his TV camera, actually fancy as fuck. You don't see this for Japanese toilets. Tell me in the comments if you think that a Japanese toilet is the exact same toilet as shown in the movie. Then the American agent, which I don't know his fucking name, enters the bathroom and takes off his disguise in the center of the bathroom. Why couldn't he do it in a stall? I don't know. Two goons who are the goats of this movie, who are named Graham and Aether, attack him, and the American agent puts his beacon on Mater. So plot device is obvious. Either way, they still would have questioned him anyway. It's not like they would question the truck immediately. Mater exits the bathroom. Holly thinks that Mater is a spy cause again, idiotic shit. And Mater thinks he's gotten a date. Then the American agent is dragged back to a warehouse, and we get an interesting explanation. All in all, becomes extremely dangerous when hit by an electromagnetic pulse, and the camera shoots it. And the American agent, while suffering, accidentally reveals Mater as a spy. Not Granator. Not one of them said this. Hey, American agent, you stupid idiot! You passed the device to him. We're trying to pull that out of his ass. What more do you need? Then we get to the first of 3 races, which is in Japan. We get a bunch of details that don't actually amount to story because the spy plot exists. The Grand Prix part becomes less and less important as the spy plot happens. Oh yeah, question. If this is gonna pick one or the other, if you're gonna choose a racing film, choose a racing film. Choose a spy, choose a spy. Pick one or the other, not both. Also, the spies think that the stupid shit Mater does is clever spy stuff, like telling McQueen, like wearing his headphones is part of a spy plan. Wow, didn't know that. Anyway, Mater's giving some tips to Lightning. Also, the Chads use the camera to explode the engine on one of the racers. They see Mater in the pits and go after him. Holly interrupts Mater and tells him to get out of the pits and basically like this, Mater, get the fuck out, the Chads are coming. Meanwhile, Finn is doing all the actual fighting toward the Lemons. And while this is all happening, Holly's then trying to keep messing up McQueen. This forces McQueen to lose the race. Mater acts like an idiot, because of course he does, and eventually saying that his girlfriend is just a voice in his head, and saying that about a Karate Street performance, which one of them had a flamethrower. And McQueen gets mad at Mater. Again, reverting to square one, I see. There's suspicion towards all in all that it might have caused the crashes. Then what are we supposed to do? This next scene up here in the airport puts 2 characters in the wrong direction and expects you to sympathize with one of them. That being McQueen and Mater. I mean, McQueen snaps at Mater for losing the race, while Mater made him lose the race. Who am I supposed to sympathize at this point? But I can still tell who the protagonist is. Someone who shouldn't. And anyways, he thinks about returning to Radiator Springs. Properly introduced. Finn. Also, the sadness from the last scene is just basically thrown in the trash now. P.S. And then we get another chase scene by Finn and the Chads. So this leads to Mater trying to board a plane while they're getting shot. Now, Finn manages to knock out the Chads, and they got the poop joke. And they got a shit joke. Again, really funny shitheads. McQueen gets the letter that Mater's going home. Alright, nope, fuck them. They're going in the trash after this. Anyways, back into the real plot. Should not. Where Holly checks the device and pulls it out of his ass. And now that the real plot shows up, it falls down. They stop there because they pop up some random engine. And they believe that Mater was the one who took it. No, it was the American agent back there. But he can't, because apparently the American agent isn't funny anymore. Oh yeah, do I need to remind you that the American agent is also voiced by Mayor Shelburne? Because Bruce Campbell. For reasons. They're like, you might think that a spy would actually be smart and know that that the truck was not the one who took the picture of the engine. Because the engine is British, and the car and Mayer did not take the picture the American agent did. What the fuck? How do you fuck up this badly as spy cars? Again, how you get past level 1 of spy training? And they get a State Farm joke. Pathetic. Mayer decides to help them out with their spy stuff because he actually feels like he's actually being smart for once. Although he's not really doing anything despite how he acts Mayer most of the time, how he acts in Radiator Springs. Oh wait, that's the moral. That's the moral of the movie. Being yourself is exactly what people need. And whenever people get mad, you ignore it and continue doing your own thing. Onward to Paris. And yes, the Gusto reference is actually pretty clever. And gets more filler. Stop taking breaks with this movie, please. You did this with Japan. We're not doing this with Paris again. Serves no purpose to this movie, only to drag on the runtime slowly, especially when it comes to scenes that aren't fucking necessary to have filler in it. And so Mayer blows their cover, surprisingly, and gets the informant named Tomer they're looking for to run away. They knock him out, they tase him, bring him to an abandoned garage, and he gets interviewed while learning about the term lemon from Mater, which is what I described this movie. Lemon, meaning this is shit. Cars that don't ever work right. Or this is a movie that don't ever work right. And I'm just going to give you a disclaimer right now. This is not the worst Pixar film I've seen. That has to go to Brave, the predecessor, or successor, because that's seen worse shit than Cars 2. I mean, at least this had a good story, I guess. I'll give him that. All the cars that are in this plot, basically, are lemons. There are implications on place like Hugos, Trunkovs, Gremlins, and Pacers like the Chads were. So you can put the pieces to the puzzle together. I think lemons are like. I think it's basically what racism is. It's like a racist term for a car in the universe. We cut back to the other cars, which surprisingly, they are still not taking out the trash. They know. How do they don't know that they're gonna race the race, that McQueen's gonna race the race, and nearly get blown up by a camera. The movie already decided that the plot is not really interesting. It comes off as filler. Because, of course, you don't have to do everything that's basically relies this on is a spy movie. How do you not understand this at Pixar? But anyway, you're still better than Brave, though. So apparently, if you get it, McQueen talks with Uncle Topolino, saying that apparently getting embarrassed proves you in the wrong direction. Again, I can't sympathize for either McQueen or Mater at points. Anyways, the idea is Mater manages to keep a low profile by making a disguise. In order for the disguise to work, they have to fix all of Mater's dents. Mater declines because he claims they are valuable. Anyways, they arrive at Porta Corsa. Axelrod says that the scientists haven't determined that there's a slight fault that makes it explode under EMPs. Bullshit. I question how he didn't do shit. Why, I ask? You'll find out. Again, no one would care about the racing part now. And I should care about the racing part. Because you can't pick two plots at the same time. Doesn't work like that. This ain't like seriously. This ain't Chicken Little, where you get to disguise to explore the baseball plot and the fucking alien plot. This is Cars 2. Back to the story again. Holly convinces the blue tow truck named Yvonne to help her out. Sounds like you need. It sounds like as a disguise. You better not you better not replace him with Mayor though. Spoiler alert: they do. Oh well, they are. I'm just being delusional at points. Perhaps they'll disguise Mayor's voice. Nope, they don't. And people say that, and Mayor says that playing the idiot tow truck is the best way to be for a spy. And Mayor goes back to the truck, pulls out another Hugo car. Why am I talking? Well, too bad. I bet under 10 minutes I'd be finished with the racing plot. And Mayor gets caught because it's a completely different voice from the other tow truck. Are you sure about that? Because he ain't yelling us in public. Maybe getting a lemon arrested. I'm not sure. Probably the fucking guy next to him. I think his name's Alexander. I don't give a shit. Anyways, it's a kid's film, because the kids would not see the problem. But as you grow older, you see the problem. Anyways, they go to the meeting where Zundap enters. Finally, mention him again. Alright. When did cars eat fruit? Why does the boss, who no one refers to by any name, need a telephone? To be fair, he can't pick up a telephone because he's a car. Anyway, the boss gets them all angry because they're all outdated models and no one makes parts for them anymore. Basically, the reason why they act the way they are. It's not like making diapers for elderly people. Yes, that's a thing. Because all diapers are made for babies. That's basically what they're talking about here. This is my basic summary of them. So I can understand, but since they're crime lords, I cannot. But I would understand as if they were poor people. But nope, they're crime lords. Supposed to be threatening, not poor. Problem 3. Didn't Axelrod completely convert himself to an electric car? If it's possible, if it's able for him, if he was able to do it, then they'd be able to do it too. Finn and Holly learn that the camera that the Chads are using is causing the other cars to break down. Then the cars are starting to get angry at all in all. No. The boss explains their motivation, which is honestly pretty stupid. Just having people switch from alternative fuel to gasoline and be the richest car in the world. I couldn't fucking study it because I didn't even remember half of it. Half of the motivation. Then Lightning and the Italian car learn what happened behind them. Axelrod decides that he'll continue the race but won't require anyone to use all in all. Why couldn't Lemons use alternative fuel? Because fuck you. You're supposed to be crime lords, so you don't get to use alternative fuel. Anyways, Holly gets caught, and it turns out that McQueen is going to win to use the race with all in all. Anyway, so obviously they get pissed and want to kill Lightning McQueen. Mayor accidentally blows his cover. What the fuck? And everyone believes that he is this American spy. Fuck motherfuckers! You killed the blue car. He was the American agent. You fucking dumbass. Despite some, the majority of the Lemons are good still. Because they're threatening as fuck. Especially the Chads. I'll tell you who the Chads are once they get defeated. Or did I? Anyways, he flies out of the casino. Mayor decides he has to alert Lightning. Doesn't work. Mayor gets kidnapped in the middle of a crowded area which no one will question. Anyways, Mayor gets knocked out and we go through a hallucination moment. No, you can't be sympathized and laughed at the same time. Like this, oh, I'm so sorry that you've been acting funny lately. It's basically what this is. And he wakes up at Big Ben instead of a junkyard. Worked faster. Would it? Would it? Yes or no? And you tie them up to in a one place in the world. How do they get past the security of Big Ben? Trust me. I think they. I think they. I think they brought the camera here and blew their engines up. I think they did. You just gotta love that. Yeah, while their evil scheme, while Zundap and his lemons, our evil scheme is going on in London. Pres- Presuming how to manage to get past all the security, question. They probably blew up their engines. Probably. So the mechanism of the clock threatens to kill them inside of that junkyard, which actually been made them more threatening. And the guys threaten to kill Lightning in front of them. The first movie there, why you stop there? Axelrod thanks Lightning to continue to stick with All in All. So the race begins, and the last two acts haven't added suspense. This is the main problem. There is no suspense until the third act. This is just pathetic. The beam fails to kill Lightning because plot alert. The first time, because he turned around a building, they go for the backup because he turned around for a building, or just because they suck at aiming. Anyways, the Chads say that they snuck a bomb in McQueen's pit, instead because the next time he stops, he dies. Boom. So they revealed the plan. They could have just added a piece of paper. Or actually, they can't because they're cars. God damn it. Anyways, Mayor promises to get Finn and Holly out, but they say they'll be okay. The clock mechanism breaks the rope because they're too scared to kill off the characters. Mayor tells everyone that they weren't scared in the beginning of the film where they killed off the two spies. But why are they now? Mayor tells everyone in the pits that there is a bomb in there. So what if Mayor played the idiot tow truck? He fails to get to the pits, and the bad guys and Lemon's plans would have been ruined. Which is something a normal human would be doing in a crowded area. So Mayor starts driving away because Lightning gets blown up, and apparently the bomb is on Mayor. In Mayor's air filter in his engine. Easily told the other guys that there was a bomb in the pit. Also, where are the other racers? Did they fly off the track? I don't know what happened. But they don't. Either way, they probably got thrown in the trash as well because they're not that interesting anymore. And you thought that was bad, if you thought the main characters were thrown in the trash, Mayor's character derailment was thrown in the trash, there's more of that. Anyways, the bomb remotely blows up, Mayor gets out of range because plot device. Holly and Finn chase down Mater and the Zundap. Finn catches the Zundap, but they get dragged in by a magnet on a battleship, on the big boat again. Hey look, it's the big boat. Didn't I mention that back at the oil rig scene? Now that the bomb isn't going off, there's no more suspense. Didn't take long at all, did it? Finn blows up the big boat. Holly knocks out the Chads named Graham and Acer. They were the Chads the whole time. They're the goats of the movie, which I'll explain in a little bit, and has them beat up in a tavern. I want to finish this as soon as possible. Anyways, so the bomb can only be deactivated by the voice of the one who activated it, and the Zundap didn't activate it. We have an action scene. We have an action scene where they fight the lemons from the guys from the first movie that the movie barely forgot how to write. Besides Luigi, none of their names weren't even, or Guido, none of their names were even mentioned at this point. Not, or Doc. Talking about the other ones that aren't dead, like Doc. They can't remove the bolts on the bomb strap to Mater. I get. So they wouldn't risk. So Mater has gotten everything figured out on the plot in a stupid way that only Mater can do it. So and the lemons and the Holly and Finn chase after him. They don't try to get the bomb off of him. They think, and somehow Zundap was not the one who activated the bomb. What the fuck? Yeah, finally, and the Queen of all people mentions the race again. Question: You're W Queen for that? And Mater thinks that Axelrod, the guy who invented All in All, was trying to sabotage All in All. How does it work, Mater? He says that he is who means that Axelrod put the bomb, sabotage All in All because the bomb strapped in his engine are the same bolts with Wentworth bolts, which are the same bolts that hold together that old British engine in the photograph. Holly shows it, and Mater says that there ain't no oil under them, they ain't no oil in it. Because he was leaking oil at a party, that means he was using the same bolts that was used to fasten your engine, which means that he sabotaged the races. And the British guards who are protecting the Queen are actually taking a risk on this theory. Well, W them. I'm glad they're actually doing their job. So, Mater says to make All in All look bad, so everyone to go back to using oil. Then why didn't Axelrod say that the scientist just found a problem with the fuel earlier? It's getting nowhere now. The bomb's about to go boom if you don't get the fuck out of that area. So W security again. Then he had that huge. Mater says the huge oil field was just the world was trying to find something else. Well, couldn't he sell both oil and All in All? It's the same goddamn thing. It doesn't mean that they're not fuel members. So oil and fuel are the same thing. They're supposed to run cars. This is like building a restaurant. So take a picture like this. You build a restaurant just to solely set the restaurant on fire. And after 1 second, the bomb is deactivated by Axelrod. Wow. That is a spit in the face to Twist villains. What? How do you not? I'm sorry. How do you fuck up this badly? How do you not understand? You don't even understand. This is the first bad of the Twist villains, and he's considered the second worst. The first worst is still fucking Guy from Turbo, but we don't talk about that shit here. And why the fuck did Axelrod leave his name on the bomb? Are you actually fucking stupid? Just when I thought Mater, Holly, and Finn weren't the only characters that were stupid. Especially someone that's supposed to be threatening like Axelrod. Oh yeah, fun fact. Axelrod was originally going to be the secondary antagonist. The plot would have still went going just to beat a black Russian sports car named Zill. Although he was scrapped because Axelrod proved to be more popular to the producers. So Mater gets knighted. Who won the race? The movie doesn't tell us. They arrive back in Radiator Springs. Finn Mater manages to blow their cover by saying that they're secret agents, don't tell nobody, but you told them who they are. Then the cars have a race in Radiator Springs, and that's how the film ends. Wow, that was such a terrible movie. The soundtrack is obnoxious. The characters are majority of idiots. Axelrod is a terrible villain and is the worst twist I've ever seen in a movie. The pacing is really obnoxious. This movie is an hour and 46 minutes long. Do you know how much this felt like for me? An eternity. And also, the cinematography is absolutely horrible. The only redeeming this is better than Brave still. But this is a close second to the worst Pixar movie ever. The only redeeming quality I have with this Cars 2 is that some of the lemons aren't that bad, especially the Chads, like Zundap, Grem, Acer, or any of the other lemons. I don't even bother to explain who the hell they are. And that's it. I cannot praise anything else. This gets a 2 out of 10 or an F. Please stay away from this movie. Again, final warning. This is not the worst Pixar movie ever made. Brave exists, that's for sure. But this is a close second. Anyways, that's finally ending. Anyways, thank you for watching and go subscribe.